New today, Epstein survivors demanding accountability in a new class action lawsuit, suing the DOJ for publishing files with personally identifying information of approximately 100 survivors, and Google for allowing it to remain online. The DOJ said it was in the process of addressing victims' concerns while complying with the Epstein Files Transparency Act. Here's one survivor who may be part of the suit if the class action is certified by a judge.
My information was released all 3 times. Even this last, there was a batch of 20 documents that were released. And even in that, after my lawyers have already said her name needs to be redacted and sent a list of names that needed to be, taken care of. Even in this last batch, my name was still there. So after each release, I see more media that comes my way and threats, honestly.
Joining me now, Ankush Khardori, former federal prosecutor and Politico Magazine senior writer. Welcome, my friend. Danielle Bensky there says she felt like she's been living under a microscope, facing threats with her private information in these documents. So do these victims have a claim?
Well, look, there's no question that they're sympathetic and that they deserve to be very, very angry about the way the Justice Department has handled this, totally bungled it ineptly. And Pam Bondi and Todd Blanche won't even apologize for the mistakes. That said, I think this could be a challenging lawsuit. It's a very unique set of circumstances, of course, right? There's never been a law like this passed before. There's never been a disclosure like this passed before. The allegations in the complaint include allegations that the release of the victim's information was intentional or potentially even retaliatory. Now, that may be enough to get them past the motion to dismiss, but at some point they would need to prove out those claims. And as a factual matter, that could be quite difficult.
So your latest article for Politico Magazine examines how to rebuild what you describe as a degraded Department of Justice. Former White House and DOJ officials told you restoring what we've lost and ensuring the department is more durable than it was will be essential. A former advisor to President Biden said if you can destroy an agency, you can certainly make an agency serve people better. Skye Perryman says reimagining a post-Trump Department of Justice must start with listening to the people. And Kush, what kinds of things could be done to restore the DOJ's integrity, its durability, its trust?
Yeah, look, so there's going to have to be a whole host of things if we really want some sort of recovery here. I think there's going to have to be a whole set of personnel decisions that are going to need to be made concerning people who lost their jobs or people who have jobs that maybe shouldn't. Then there are going to be substantive questions about how to build back certain components that have already been severely degraded under this administration, including Justice Department investigations and prosecutions in national security contexts, white-collar crime, financial fraud, civil rights enforcement, and the like. On the first one, you may have seen, Todd Blanche at CPAC this week, bragging about how they had fired every single agent or lawyer who had worked on the Trump investigations and prosecutions. Totally unfair, a gross abuse of power. Those people are either going to get paid out by the government under lawsuits and or get their jobs back in a future administration, is my guess.
So all of this, that's one step. But the big picture here, all this reimagining, is it merely a thought experiment? Because, hey, this administration, we're in year 2 of a 4-year term.
Yeah, no, it's not a thought experiment. People are thinking very hard about this. I expect to see some sort of robust initiatives coming in the coming months. I think they're not quite ready to launch yet. But there have been very, very prominent DOJ alumni from Republican and Democratic administrations who have been talking amongst each other behind closed doors, sharing their concerns and thinking about how to stand up an organization that will sort of be able to envision a post-Trump Justice Department that doesn't have that ridiculous banner on it, for instance. So,
but
I think we're going to see some more.
Hang on a second. Pam Bondi has to approve all this. Is she going to? Well, she's Attorney General?
This is a post-Trump Justice Department these people are thinking about.
Gotcha.
They're already, Pam Bondi in their mind is a lost cause. So is Todd Blanche. They're running the department into the ground, by these people's lights. They're not planning for how to fix it now. They're worried about a degradation being so severe that even if a new president comes in from an opposition party in 2029, there's going to have to be essentially a generational project to rebuild the capacities, the personnel, and the integrity of this institution, one of the most important in the American government.
Stunning. Okay. Ankush Khardori, always good to talk with you, my friend. Thank you much.